Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Top Producers Nation podcast. This, of course, is the podcast that is made to help agents be top producers in their desired market anywhere in the country. And we are powered locally by Tampa Bay Real Producers here in Tampa Bay, Florida, where we feature the top 500 producing agents in this local market. And that's through our magazine as well as through many of our private events, including many of them who have been on this show since we've launched a couple of years ago. You can check us out, by the way, at topproducersnation.com to learn more about our online community for agents, as well as our different programs, coaching, and all kinds of different support systems that we have in place to help you as an agent be a top producer, or if you're a broker or a team leader, help you grow your teams and produce more top producers in your organization. We also have, of course, local partners who support our local platform. In fact, today on the show, we have one of those local partners. That's Thomas Scott with Stellar AI Solutions. And we have him here today to talk about his business and a little bit more about exactly what Stellar has done and is doing to serve agents in the community. So, Thomas, good to have you, brother. How are you?
Oh, too blessed to be stressed, man. Thanks for having me.
Amen, no doubt. So if you're not familiar, we'll kind of start a little bit with just Thomas's background if you haven't had a chance yet to meet him. Thomas is actually one of our newer partners with Tampa Bay Real Producers, just recently joined us within the last few months, has come to one of our panel events. And if you do follow us locally here in Tampa Bay, you'll see Thomas actually next Thursday at Whiskey Cake over at the International Mall. And Thomas is going to be one of 3 panelists that we have specifically on this topic, obviously, regarding actually our topic next Thursday is how to utilize AI as a strategic partner. And so Thomas does that pretty much every day with his own business as well as with all the agents and so forth that he works with. So let's give some people a little background, man. If you're not from Tampa Bay, how did you get here? Where did you grow up? And how did this whole AI thing come about for you?
Well, I don't know if we have enough time for the whole backstory, but I'll condense it a little bit for everyone. So yeah, I'm originally from California, actually, and been an entrepreneur 20 plus years. I read Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and the rest is history. And so I've owned a handful of companies, since that time. Some were great, some not so well, and just a learning curve, as you know, for any entrepreneur. You're always learning, you're always growing and experiencing different things on that journey. Yep. And so, fast forward about 7 years ago, my wife and my 2 kids at the time, we moved here. I was in Pensacola, Florida, where I lived there for about 25 years. That's where I pretty much ran all my companies. I've had everything from a booking agency, event production company. I had oxygen bar company, which was really neat. And then I moved slowly into video production, video marketing. And that's kind of like where I started to just really understand about looking at other businesses and helping them where they needed to be at using video. At the time, drone technology was starting to come out. I'm sure you guys all remember that.
Sure.
It was pretty crazy. Matter of fact, I got into drone technology because for my oxygen bar, we did events all over. I put on over 500 events in my time. I was a touring musician in a reggae rock band for over a decade.
You had longer hair then?
What's that?
Longer hair then, or
all my bandmates, they played the role. I was like the new kid on the block of the band.
The Vanilla Ice of the reggae band.
And yeah, it was funny. I part of like the theatrics was I would put on like this big wig. And it just, then at that point, like, it let me fit in because, I had, all these guys with dreads in the team, and then here's me, just some white guy, like, playing percussion. So, yeah, it was fun. But, yeah, so I played music, and I always wanted to have a booking agency because you're traveling a lot. You're meeting a lot of venue owners. You're meeting a lot of bands. And while my other bandmates were sleeping in, until the next gig, I was trying to grow a business. And So yeah, I did tons of events and learned a lot through that. But the Oxygen Bar company was really unique because when we were doing events, it was like, how do we go? We were doing a lot of festivals and a lot of events. We would do 5K runs. You know, it was great for those guys, giving them a lot of O2 and giving them more energy and just replenishing them, stuff like that. And so I was like, how do we figure a way to get people to my Oxygen Bar company? And so my roommate at the time was like, hey, have you seen those drones? I'm like, what are you talking about? The drones that bomb people? Because that's all I knew about, drones at that time. He's like, no, there's these drones and they have cameras on them and you can fly them. And I was like, all right, let's take a look. So I saw it. I was hooked. And my idea wasn't to use them for cameras and get footage originally. It was, I wanted to use those drones and put like a banner on it that said like, follow me to the Oxygen Bar. Kind of like when you're at a beach and you see the planes flying around.
Yeah.
So that was my idea.
Guerrilla marketing.
Yes. It was very innovative technology. I've always been on the cusp looking for innovative ways to separate me from others. Right. And so, so I ended up getting this drone and then I didn't expect it, but I started to film a lot of different events and people were seeing the footage because I just put a lot of content out. And then one day, it was actually New Year's happened, and downtown they have a big party like any town. And I was flying my drone around and I was flying it around the fireworks and through the fireworks. You may have even seen that footage. It got real viral.
Okay.
And it was like one of those unique videos where people are like, how did you do that? Like, because they didn't even know drones had cameras existed.
Sure.
So I ended up working with the city of Pensacola. We were doing a lot of content for the tourism board, filming these beautiful top beaches, most beautiful beaches in the world. And it was just a really unique perspective. Before that, you had to get helicopters, right?
Yeah.
So just like AI right now and all these other things, AI is eradicating efficiencies, allowing you to be more productive, and you can reduce overhead costs because AI is replacing VAs and call centers and stuff like that. Whereas drones were replacing all these, expensive ways to film aerial photography. So, long story short, started working with some iconic brands. I filmed with Emmy Award-winning producer Sean Silva, with Kenny Chesney. We're doing huge festivals with them. Victoria's Secret, Playboy, the Professional Bull Riding Championship, and just tons of others. And so ended up growing that just from an aerial standpoint with video.
Yeah.
Brought it full circle.
So that was all kind of drone services that you were providing for those brands?
Yeah. So I worked with a lot of production companies and they hired me for the aerial side of things. And I'm like, well, why am I just doing aerial? Let's bring it full circle. And so we created my video production company and I built that steady over a decade. We had the video production company, got into video marketing. And so in a little town, you're a musician, you've been there 25 years, you can't really go far without anyone knowing you. We just wanted to flip a new chapter in our life. So we moved here, and the point was, let's grow the video production business.
Was that you and your wife that had the business together?
Well, I had it, and she came in, and obviously she helped where she could, but she was working at the time. She managed a restaurant, and stuff like that.
Okay.
We moved here. We had 2 kids, and then we ended up having another one while we were here. So now we have 3 kids. And so how I got my start in real estate is quite interesting. At least.
What made you pick Tampa?
Well, it was actually Tampa. And then
Tampa Bay, I meant.
Tampa Bay. I had been here a couple times just for fun and loved it. Never been to St. Pete though. And so I was talking to folks and they're like, hey, you have a family? You should check out St. Pete. It's right on the outskirts, beachy, town. It's growing. So I did my research, and at the time, St. Pete was growing really fast and had a lot of amazing
in the last decade.
stuff. Yeah. Exactly. And so I said, I think that's where we want to be. And I had a friend that lived here. He graciously just let us hang out at his house till we found somewhere. And that's how we got our start.
That's
right?
Cool.
So
do you guys live on the downtown side or the beach side?
Well, we moved actually to Redington Beach, which is right on the almost right on the water, which is an amazing experience. Just to walk out there in the mornings and run and all that stuff. But right now we live more central St. Pete.
Gotcha.
Right now, kind of around everything. Right?
Yeah, it is a booming area for sure. Years ago, I started a magazine for the residents of Snell Isle in downtown St. Pete, right? And then we opened up one in Tierra Verde just south of there. And felt like I was an adopted St. Pete resident for many years as I was working with small businesses in that area and doing that whole thing. This was before we launched Real Producers here in Tampa Bay. But so you moved to St. Pete. You still had the video company, it sounds like, at the time?
Yeah. Slowly, you come to a new town, you got to kind of build it from scratch, right?
Sure.
No one knew you, got to get out of obscurity. So I ended up just pounding the streets. Matter of fact, I was already calling agencies prior to moving here, so I had at least something when I hit the ground running, something going. So yeah, ended up doing as much as I could to get the business out there. And I got hired. This is my segue piece into the real estate world. Because at the time, I thought just real estate was about agents. I never knew about real estate investing, wholesaling, all these other ways that people are utilizing real estate to build wealth and generate
we've had some
revenue.
investors on this show. Commercial, multifamily, even wholesalers, flippers. So no doubt, there's a lot of different ways to be able to make a living with real estate for sure.
Absolutely, and so I got hired by a company to do and film a 2-day seminar.
Okay.
Actually, it was here in Tampa. There was this young buck. His name was Rafael Vargas. He was supposedly making $10 million a year, doing virtually. What's that?
Investing, like flipping.
He was doing virtual wholesaling, like
Okay.
all over the country.
Okay.
And so he had these seminars where they would teach other people how to do the same.
Yep.
And they were spending 25, 30 G's to come let them open up the curtain, the blueprint, and they just dug in, and he gave them everything to start learning how to do virtual wholesaling. So here I am filming, just doing, what production crews do. And, but I'm hearing, right. I'm listening. I'm like, this is interesting.
Yeah.
And so I was like, wow, these guys are killing it. And, I'm like, I didn't know there was a such thing as wholesaling. What is wholesaling? Oh, you all you're doing is moving a contract from one side of the table to the other.
It's just flipping paper.
No liability, no risk, easy entry, right? And all right, sounds cool. Good for you guys. So 4 or 5 months pass, and then COVID hits. Anyone in marketing, anyone doing what I was doing understood the pain at that point because, well, no one was spending money, right? And so I had to figure out what I wanted to do. And for the first time in my life, at 20 plus years, I had to go either figure it out and start something or go work somewhere and support my family.
Yeah.
Right. So a little bit of an ego hit, but you do what you got to do for your
sure.
family and survive, right? And pivot. So I ended up applying for some real estate investment companies and got a dispo manager job. So I was a disposition manager. I basically got the deals and I would find the buyers and sell the deals.
Sure.
So 3 months later, the company I was with ended up letting everyone off and they went a different direction into tech. So here I am again now, like, what am I going to do, right? At that time, I built up a pretty big buyers database, just hustling, find buyers. The market was changing, as you know, it was getting crazy.
Yeah.
And you could have sold a doghouse for $100,000, it seemed, and it was just booming. So
were your buyers like individual investors or were you dealing with like institutional money?
Both.
Okay.
Both. Mainly individuals. So my first year, here I am now, kind of wet behind the ears, and I learned a little things from that 3 months, but what can you learn just as a dispo guy? But having my entrepreneurial background, I said, you know what? I'm just going to jump in and do like I always do. I'm going to take massive imperfect action and just figure it out. And it's exactly what I did. So.
Perfect action. I don't even know what that looks like, Rob. Do you? Massive action, I respect. Perfect action, I have no idea how that even works itself out. But I love it.
Massive imperfect action.
Oh, imperfect action. That makes more sense. I feel like every time I take action, it's never perfect. I can tell you that much. It's always a mess.
There's only one man to walk this earth that's done perfect.
It's always imperfect. So I appreciate the clarity there for sure.
Yeah. So jumped in, and my first year, no clue about real estate. But I was able to take that buyer's list, turn it into about 37 transactions. My first year, I did 6 figures. And second year, said, all right, let me start doing some marketing. Because when you're doing that, you don't control the deal.
Were you wholesaling all the deals?
JVing, yeah. So I would find other wholesalers' deals.
Yeah.
And say, hey, I got buyer's lists. Let me try to sell your deal. And they'd be like, okay, go for it. And I was turning them for them. So
Yeah.
I was helping these guys
gotcha.
sell their deals. It's great joint venture.
You were getting a cut of the wholesale split.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People call it astro flipping, whatever you want to do, but
Yeah.
you're just leveraging other people. They did half the work, you do the rest,
Sure.
and you guys split, right? So yeah, did that. And I was like, all right, this is kind of cool, learning more and more. And I said, well, how are people actually getting control of these deals? I want to get in front of the actual sellers. So ended up doing direct mail marketing, starting to have some success. And from that, I ended up building a unique business model. I wasn't really a big fan of how wholesalers worked, and any agents out there, you know what I'm talking about. You
Yep.
probably despise the wholesaler.
Many of them, I've heard the horror stories.
And rightfully so, because a lot of them are just bad characters. They don't know what they're doing, and it just gives us good guys a bad rap. Right. So what I ended up doing, instead of the traditional way, you go to a homeowner, get it under contract, go market it to your buyers, have them give you the highest and best, and hopefully
Right.
you sell the deal.
Right.
For me, I said, well, I've already sold some deals to a handful of guys, that like multiple deals. And I said, you guys, some of them are in different markets, right? I said, look, I have a really good thing going on with my marketing. I'm getting X amount of leads. I'm getting this amount of deals. I'd like to grow and scale. And you're already in Tampa. You're already in Polk County and Pasco County. I'd love to partner with you. If you fund the marketing campaign, I'll handle everything else. I'll manage that campaign. I'll answer all the leads. I'll qualify them. I'll kick you off all the details. You tell me you evaluate the deal. You go look at it, get your contractor out there, renovate, and then give me the final offer. And then I'll negotiate on your behalf, and anything under that, I'm going to keep. Fair? Okay, let's do it. So ended up doing that. Started getting a handful of clients. And I'm like, this is really cool. For one, I didn't have to pay for marketing. Right?
Yeah, no doubt.
They're paying
It's
for it.
a good arrangement.
I get the leads.
You can
and
use your skill set to what you want to use it for.
These guys, all they want to do is focus on really renovating homes.
Yeah.
Like they want to just do what they do. They hate all
They
the
don't
other
want to
stuff.
negotiate
They
with
don't.
the
They're
buyer.
blue collar guys. They just want to get their hands there, get their crews, and build something beautiful.
Right.
And so it was a symbiotic relationship, and it panned out. And I didn't get paid unless I closed deals. So I was incentivized.
So it sounds like your end buyer, for the most part, were not necessarily, your typical buyers moving into the home. They were investors who were flipping the property.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
I had a
They were
couple that were
rehabbers.
holding, so they had a little bit different exit strategies, which was nice for me because it just gives me more ways to convert the lead.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for them, they didn't want to flip it. They didn't want to hold it. Well, guess what? I was always learning new skills, how to convert the lead. So I started learning wholesaling. So we would wholesale it if it wasn't for them, and then we would split profits. Creative terms, started learning creative financing, sub 2 deals, novations. That was like the big one that really changed the game for us.
What's novations?
Novation is like a wholesale style transaction, except with wholesale, it's all done off market. But in a novation, it's really a Greek term it's called novus, which just means new. So I'm simply providing a new contract. So I would go under contract with a homeowner with them knowing that I was going to market this property and list it for them with their permission, and then put it on the market so you get more eyeballs. And then when I found the buyer on the market, then I would simply remove my contract and bring that buyer in, and then I got paid the difference. I gave my seller a guaranteed price, and anything above that I kept. So on average, we would do 45, 60 grand. And they got more money. We got more money from that strategy. So by the end of my 4th, 5th year in real estate, the less transactions was looking better, less stress, a lot of less moving parts, but more revenue through that deal structure.
Okay.
So I'm learning all these things. My clients are benefiting from my skill set now because I'm converting deals for them that they didn't even know that could happen. So I'm making them money, and they're not even flipping. Less risk, less everything for them, right? Less capital. So beautiful relationship. And so I end up getting a handful of clients, and now guess what starts happening, Don? Leads. Everyone wants leads, but at the end of the day, after talking to hundreds, maybe thousands of these guys, you find that they spend a lot of money, time, and energy on advertising, marketing, but they don't have the people, the processes, the systems in place to actually capture those leads and maximize their ROI and their marketing dollars for an
And you're
ROI.
talking about the investors specifically here.
Correct.
Yeah.
Typically, right?
Yeah.
That's just they think they got to go out and spend more money, but no, you just need a better system to
Better
capture
process.
it. A lot of them have like the leaky bucket syndrome.
Sure.
They got holes in it, and then they just keep trying to fill it up as
Right.
much, but plug up those holes.
The holes get bigger and
you
bigger.
get better return on your ad spend. You reduce your CAC, your cost of acquisition. So at this point, though, I'm still doing my thing and running their business or getting their leads and generating deals for them. So I, as a solopreneur, if you may, I start getting thinned out, if you may, and I'm missing calls now. I'm not following up adequately, right? Because there's just so much going on. So I had to put new things in place, and I'm going, how can I maximize these guys' ROI and not miss calls and stuff? This is ridiculous, right? So this is then when all of a sudden I run upon a video where OpenAI, they're doing a demonstration of this new technology, AI, and they're having a full-on conversation on a phone with this bot, and they're talking back and forth as if it was like for real. And
Right.
and I go, that's the future. I said, holy cow. And the light bulb, went off. And I said, I wonder if I could build something using that technology to where when the leads come in, the sellers call, they can get the bot, qualify them, and then kick them over to me. Speed to lead is everything. But now 24/7, the AI is going to answer it.
They never go to sleep.
Sometimes people call you, they're not wanting to sell, they just want to cuss you out or tell you, maybe in 2 years, whatever. You don't need to waste your time with that. Like you want to talk to people that are ready to go, want to hear an offer and have their hands raised. So I ended up doing my search. So I went domestically, I went globally. I spent hundreds of hours on like interviewing companies on who can build me these systems with this new technology, this AI. And I finally found a company out of London. It took us almost 3 months to build, cost me tens of thousands of dollars later, and a lot of time and energy because I had to hold their hand, integrating my system, webhooks, APIs, these platforms, just a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
And but we ended up getting it
So
going.
is the core of the platform, was it affiliated with like ChatGPT, or is that just kind of like a help people understand, like, because nowadays you hear a lot of different AI platforms, right? So there's the ChatGPT, which is probably the most popular, most common. People are all
you're referring to
fairly aware.
LLMs or large language models, which are based on all these AI platforms.
Right,
You're referring
Gronk,
to.
ChatGPT, Gemini. So you got all these different versions. People have different opinions on what's better, why they're better, that type of thing. But if you could touch maybe a little bit on educating people on that, just maybe put a little clarity on your opinion on, is there a difference? If so, why? Is one better than another for something, but not for something else? Do you know what I'm saying? So if there's something I know we'll touch on this, I'm sure, at the panel, but I think it would be, educational even on the podcast. And then your own platform, was there a tie to these other existing AI platforms in order to build your software, or was your stuff also kind of built from the ground up and it's completely different from what they already bring to the table?
Yeah, so let's tackle the first one. There's a lot of different LLMs out there. There's different models, 3.0, 4.0,
Yep.
OSS.
Every month it changes.
ChatGPT 5 now comes out. You got Gemini this and Grok. And so they all have different purposes for different things, for coding, content, deep research, right?
Even graphic design now.
Certain ones that now can look at photos and listen to things, audio, video, and then can turn that into whatever you're trying to accomplish, right? For us in our world, we deal with the voice AI. We deal with the conversational AI. And so what we find is OpenAI's 4.0 is by far the best one for that, just based on the logic and reasoning.
For the chat side,
it.
you mean? Conversational?
Correct.
And voice?
And when you do comparisons across the board, when you're testing these models, like 4.0 is just by far the best so far. Even 5.0, like it's just different for how it thinks and stuff. And people, everyone's gonna poo-poo on this and this, but at the end of the day, like I look at all that and I'm like, I'm hip to it. I'm in it all the time. But what we focus on, Don, is primarily the voice. So OpenAI 4.0 is by far right now at this point the best model for those types of agentic systems.
And OpenAI, for people who might not know, is just the company, right? That's the company. ChatGPT is one of their products. That's their language model, as you laid out. Does OpenAI have other AI platforms outside of ChatGPT?
Not that I'm aware of.
Just curious.
Yeah, I mean they just came out with the OSS model, which is pretty cool, where you can now download it on a desktop and a laptop, and you don't need internet to power it, which is great because now you don't have to worry about your data being sent to these big corporations.
More secure that way.
You literally now have a AI assistant or bot on your computer, and it's just as powerful as some of these top models. But you do have to have some really robust processing, on your computer. They do have a couple different models, 16 gigs, and then you got, the higher models. But
they sell that as like a software package.
It's free.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, okay. It's like I'm like, how are they making money? There's got to be nothing is for free.
Well, they're getting users, so there's some monetization there with the amount of users, very similar to how Facebook grew initially, right?
Yeah. So technology is always going to grow. The basis of all of this AI stuff comes down to prompting. So if anyone's really interested in AI, you really want to learn how to build AI systems, like learn how to prompt. Like that will never go away. That is the basic model. It's just like building a house. You start with the foundation and then you build up, the framework. And
there's a great book that I read and I actually heard the author speak live. I think we talked about this, Jeff Woods. Are you familiar with Jeff? He wrote the book called The AI Driven Leader is the name of the book. And I heard him speak live at an event with a mastermind group that I'm a part of called Front Row Dads. It was in Austin, Texas. And so he, in the actual message, had us pull our phones out and do some prompting live with ChatGPT or whatever Gronk we want to use.
Yeah.
It was powerful just to kind of see the impact that using his prompts, what type of responses you were getting compared to what I was kind of used to doing before that. And so, yeah, you're right. I could second that. It's like the power of the prompt is a really, really important part of getting the maximum effectiveness out of your feedback, right? From the chat. It's amazing how two people can use the same system.
Oh, yeah.
And it's almost like completely different results and responses based on the input, right?
It's like an ox, man. You can have an ox just hanging out in the field, or you can use it to plow,
Right.
And so that's it. And for those that are listening, we do provide for anyone who wants, for real estate professionals, we have an AI Ultimate Toolbox. Totally free. You can go to my Instagram, boom.with.ai. Just DM me. I'll send it personally. And it's packed full of resources. It actually has, 50 now GPT prompts to turn GPT into a sales coach, a role play, an advisor, like all of these things, right?
And you'll have to bring some of those prompts next week to the panel.
You don't pay me enough.
You just said it was free.
Yeah.
We're going to deliver the goods next week for you people. I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
Whiskey Cake. Be there next Thursday. Whatever that date is. I don't even know. But next Thursday.
They have a great spread.
9:30 a.m. We'll be digging in around 10 a.m. and really having a great session.
Last time I was and I saw some people actually drinking. Man. I was like, wow.
Yeah, you got to make sure you attract the people, baby, whatever they need.
Whatever it is.
But it's going to be a fun topic. So were you surprised at all, Thomas, as you started? You mentioned earlier that you invested a lot of time, money into like trying to figure out your platform, right? And I'm assuming the platform you were describing, was that Stellar AI?
No, this was for my own real estate company.
Okay.
Right. I just wanted to, once again, capture those leads from my partners and ensure that I just get really good conversions, right?
Yeah.
The first month we used the system, we saw about somewhere between it was like a 27.5% boost in conversion rate.
It's huge.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
And you think that if you can get that type of conversion, just because you're answering a phone live, They're not going to a voicemail. It builds trust. It builds credibility. You don't have to spend so much money on marketing and advertising if you're getting better conversions on the leads coming in.
For sure.
A lot of people, when I first started, now keep in mind, I've been doing this almost 2 years. Like this is like, I'm on the forefront of the technology. People are just now talking about ChatGPT and stuff, where I was already building robust systems and huge, architectural frameworks for automations and how it was working and follow-ups using the AI. Not only did it answer inbound calls, it transferred to teammates. It can schedule appointments right there on the phone with you, so it's integrated into your calendars. But you can use it for follow-up too. You got appointment reminders coming. The AI can usually, however you want to set it up, an hour before the meeting.
Yep.
The AI is calling them. Hey, Don, we got an appointment, coming up in an hour. Just want to make sure you're coming.
Yep.
Guess what? Improve show ratios. Your agents aren't at a house where a seller forgot that you're supposed to meet them there and waste your team's time. So all these little things start stacking up. The compound of time and energy is just it's just crazy, especially when you look at it from a 12-month perspective, right?
I like the review AI option now too, which I've done some research on too, where you can have somebody who's not just a bot, right, who's trained properly. So every time a review gets put up on, I know for many agents, the number of Google reviews they have is a big talking point. It's a big focus. And so having somebody who's responding immediately to every review, right, that comes on, whether it's positive or negative, and having that be an automated process rather than someone manually being responsible for that, that's huge as well. And that's another way to implement, right, this technology.
That's part of what we offer as well. It's reputation management. Google rewards companies that actually interact with their customers and respond to their customers, and you will over time grow organically in these search results, the map pack, if you may. And if you can, once again, compound, how much time does it take for you to send out review? Hey, leave us a review. And then when they do, like, how much time does it take to thank them and awesome, great working with you? Someone might say, it doesn't take that much time to do it. But once again, looking over a period of time, it all starts to stack up. And so what I see AI right now, the big takeaway is it is just like the time saver. Time, energy, and money are the most important things people value, right? And you can get your energy back. Okay, you worked out. Let's drink a smoothie, and now you got some energy back. Yep. You lost some money. Okay, you can get it back, right? But time, we can't get it back. So how can we leverage AI to, really streamline our workflows, boost our productivity, and increase that top line revenue, and let AI do all of the low level tasks that eat up that time, so you can focus on revenue producing, opportunities.
What are some of the industries that you have found that you're serving with your current model? The Stellar AI Solutions is the name of the company today, right? I know you don't just work with real estate agents, but obviously with our audience, that is a target that you can serve at a high level. Yeah. I know you work still with investors, right?
Yeah, we primarily focus on the real estate industry right now.
Okay.
When I first started, I obviously being in real estate, I have tens of thousands of investors and agents in our database. So it was low-hanging fruit to really just start sharing what we're doing and try to generate some business.
Is there a typical profile of like the right investor that seems to be the most attracted to your service? Is there, is it your buy and hold investors? Is it your flippers? Is it your wholesalers? Is it your commercial guys? Is there a profile or not really?
So we're constantly growing and expanding what we're doing, right? I've had this company now for about a year now. When I first started, it was real estate, and then I looked at chiropractors. I was looking at solar companies. When you start growing out and going wide, it's hard to really scale at a pace that you want, because you have to learn a whole new industry. It's like learning everything.
Everything has its own
new marketing, new emails, and learning their pain points and how is AI. And so it's like, so we ended up, I just pulled the plug on all of it. I said, I think we're going about this wrong. I said, why don't we just focus on what I know best? And that's real estate, wholesalers, investors, flip or hold. It doesn't matter. And then real estate agents, right? The real estate professionals. And so those are the people we're primarily focusing on. We hear the feedback all the time that, they went with us maybe versus someone else because I understand them. I know their world. And we're putting together systems that are specifically tailored to those professionals, which it's huge, right? So instead of being the end all be all to everyone, right now it's all about let's serve the real estate community. Let's really just do an outstanding job, get case studies, get reviews, get that machine oiled and lubed, and then we can talk about entering another niche, right? You stay in the niche, you get rich, so they say, right?
Riches are in the niches, my man. If I'm an agent and I know I want to utilize this, right, into my business, but I just don't really know where to start, right? Obviously, starting with somebody like you could be a great fit, but is there a particular practice or strategy or technique that you would start an agent on based on what you've seen work the best to get low-hanging fruit, get some quick results, right? Is it the review side? Is it setting up a chat bot? Because here's what I would recommend setting it up to do. Or is it the voice AI? Is there a particular, practice that you think if I'm an agent today, I would have this in place, no brainer, first thing?
That's a great question. First thing we always do when we talk to someone, we want to learn their business and their process from A to Z. Tell me how you start. Well, how are you getting leads? How are you evaluating properties? Data analysis. All the way through appointments. Who's answering the phone? Who's doing reminders? Who's scheduling appointments? Who's doing the follow-up? Who's sending out contracts, right? Like every part of the business. And then we'll ask them, well, what's one part of your business that you dread doing, but you can't ignore? And it's answering the phones and it's follow-up is what we primarily hear. Okay, we got systems and we got the AI that will eradicate that for you. And immediately from the time you start with us, 5-7 days later, you're launched and say goodbye to that, say more, to your time. But let's just say someone doesn't even hire us and they're just out there doing whatever they're doing, right? You can use ChatGPT, and part of our system, we build a custom GPT to actually do data analysis and property evaluations. We've already tested this, and agents use it, investors and wholesalers do it, and it's very, very close. Sometimes on the spot, sometimes a little off, but you can literally throw a property into the search bar, and it will spit out based on how we prompt and what information we want. It will give you the property details. It will go through everything, comps. It looks at it.
Does it matter if the property is on the market or not?
What's that?
Does it matter if the property is on the market or not?
No. We use it to identify because we're looking for properties all the time. Talking with sellers, agents looking for properties, property managers. They give us deals or properties that are on the market or about to go on the market. And because we're doing so much volume, we just take that, throw it through the GPT. What used to take us 10, 15, 20 minutes to comp and stuff like that is done in literally 20 seconds, I promise. And maybe we could do some cool demos I don't know. But if anyone wants to see, I have a video. We can send it out and you can literally start there.
Yep.
Start with what is available. ChatGPT, it's free. You can analyze properties and save a whole bunch of time.
So would that be the equivalent of a CMA that an agent would ask for?
Pretty much, close enough. I mean, you're getting, once again, the prompt. How we prompt it and how an agent might prompt it might be a little different. So as we're moving in and working with a lot more agents, we're always listening to them and figuring out what are your needs, where are the pain points, where are you spending the most time, and then we in my team innovate and we go to work to create those systems and those AI agents to take care of that stuff, right? So once again,
cool.
You can focus on everything. So I would say, yes.
So it sounds like starting with a consultation, figure out the flow of their business model, because not every agent has the same business model, obviously. So figuring that out and then figuring out what would be that lowest hanging fruit first step that they can take to be able to start to see the benefits from this. And maybe that is just using that tool, the CMA, or not CMA, but the tool that you just described. Or maybe it is to get the review thing in place if that's what they feel like their biggest pain point is, right? Or whatever it might be.
Wherever it is. Yeah. I'll tell you, just hundreds, thousands of conversations. you want to maximize all of the work that you're doing already, right? So if you're already out there pounding the streets and you're trying to generate leads, a lot of our agents, they depend on referrals, right? Which in my opinion is not the best business model because you're depending on outside sources to drive and keep you going. And you need to have more control of that business model, right? But if you are, or maybe you're doing Zillow leads or whatever it is, capitalize on what you're spending your dollars on. And if you're missing calls or because you're doing a showing and you can't get to a seller lead or a buyer lead, and you're not able to get to it quick, I would think about how, just like an employee, where do you need to put an employee at? I need someone to answer the phones immediately because I'm losing opportunity. An agent, they make 2-3% on an average $300,000 property. That's $6,000.
Right.
Every time you miss a call, it's potential $6,000. Stack that up over 12 months, and you do the math. You know, it's
a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer. Put someone in place, right? That's why I said the AI is getting rid of the ability, or not the ability, but the need to hire VAs and call centers. They're humans. They don't always show up on time. They got attitudes. They don't work 24/7. Everything. You have to recruit. You have to hire them. You have to train them. You have to keep them happy.
What do you say to the people who are resistant to that because they think it's replacing humans and they?
Oh man.
What's your thought process on how you respond? I'm sure you've heard that.
So innovation is always going to displace a certain sector of any economy, hands down. But AI is also also innovation replaces and creates new industries for people. Now it's up to humans if they want to grow and learn something new. You can't change that, right? I mean, boiling water, you put a potato in there, it softens it. You put an egg in there, it hardens it.
Yeah.
You can't control if you're a potato or an egg, but at the end of the day, if you see where things are going, you need to put action in place and learn something new. So it's human beings. You do what you got to do, right?
A lot of people were resistant to the automobile.
The Industrial Revolution showed you when the steam powered engines came through, people were like, well, what are we going to do? But guess what? It created new jobs. So I hear people also that say, no one's going to talk to AI. I hear a lot of agents, this is relationship business, doesn't fit my business model. We need to talk to them. I understand. I'm not saying replace human beings.
Yeah.
It is a perfect marriage because what you're utilizing AI to do is just leverage and to use it to do all of the tasks that eat up your time. You need to be focusing on what? Negotiating, finding, people, doing showings and closing deals and growing your business. Let AI do it. Would you rather call someone and you get a voicemail or an AI bot that is a bot, but it's literally having a conversation with you and it's directing you through that whatever needs it are.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm looking to sell my home. I'm looking for an agent. I saw you. Or hey, I'm looking to buy a house for my family. They call you at 6 p.m. That bot's answering. It's going through whatever your qualification questions are, and then it will either transfer or schedule an appointment with these people.
Right.
Speed to lead.
You're not dealing with the person who's in a bad mood because their spouse just cursed them out, and,
or some
they're
guy
taking
named
it out
Bob
on you.
in Africa, right? It is what it is. So just like when websites first kicked in, people were like, I don't need a website. And then what happened, 5-10 years later? How do we get a website?
Right.
It's the same thing right now. Watch the next 3 to 5 years, everyone is going to have an AI assistant. It just depends on how fast you see that is a reality. People are going to get used to it. The writing is on the wall. We have thousands and thousands of calls. Our clients have thousands of calls. We see the data. People are okay with it.
Yeah.
People are okay as long as it streamlines the process. It's not like press 2 and then say yes or no. It's not like this weird robotic thing. The human brain, when you're talking to these bots, people say please and yes and thank you. It's crazy. They think they're talking to someone. That's how powerful it is.
Well, the reality is it's coming whether you like it or not. And, when there's a train coming, you're either going to hop on it or it's going to go by you or run over you. And this is not going anywhere. AI technology is very much, to my opinion, like the internet was. I don't care who you are. If you were resistant to the internet, it was going to still impact your life. Everything has been impacted by it. And AI is going to be no different, maybe even bigger, as you just said.
Yeah.
And so ultimately, I've just always adopted the mentality that if there's something that I know is going to be a game changer, I need to figure out my way to use it, right? My path. It doesn't mean I have to be obsessed with it, but I've got to figure out that if I want to be relevant in this world and I want to have a business that is reaching people, to ignore something that big is just it's perilous, right? It doesn't make any sense if you want to be relevant in the society that is going to be utilizing it, one shape or form. So your business, I think you were smart to get into it as early as you have, and I know you put in a lot of energy into it. A couple of rapid fire questions as we start to put a bow, and I hope this got people thinking a little bit about just how they're using it. And in my experience, there's definitely been more and more people, experimenting with ChatGPT, experimenting with the use cases of ChatGPT and others, of course, platforms as well. So I feel like, as you said, more and more people are open to it.
Yeah.
But for people to get to know you a little bit more, Thomas, do you have a favorite book, author, seminar that you ever come in contact with that you feel like has made a huge impact on you personally or professionally? You mentioned Rich Dad Poor Dad before.
I read at least, I try to read at least one book a month. I just finished a book, Atomic Habits.
Yeah, it's a great one. I've read it.
I love it.
James Clear.
Good
man.
What a powerful book. Discover the Power Within by Eric Butterworth. He's a older guy. He's no longer with us, but just insane.
Sounds like a Tony Robbins theme. Unleash the power within.
It's more of a spiritual driven, using a lot of just modern day things, philosophies, theories, and stuff. But as far as like seminars, I think anyone who wants to just better themselves should be and surround themselves with those that they esteem to be like, or just are on that level to get more information in. Eric Hoffer is one of my favorite quotes. He says, "Learners inherit the earth, while the learned find themselves beautifully equipped to deal with a world that no longer exists." Mm-hmm. And that's like where we're at right now. Are you a learner or are you a learned person? I went to college. I don't need to learn anymore. And now look at you, right?
Yeah.
So, those are a couple books that I've just off the top of my head.
Is your mindset, malleable, or are you completely fixed and have no room for anything else to grow with? So there's a difference between having core values and being a learner, right? I feel like it's almost a lack of integrity for some people if their core values are constantly changing, but their mindset and their goals, not only just goals, but their mindset and their willingness to entertain new ideas. I feel like that's something that is a shame if it ever goes away.
It is hard. You see it also like in the faith, systems too. You grow in a certain faith. It's hard to get away from that, even when you're challenged by something that doesn't fit that model or what you believe, but you'll continue to believe it because it's hard to get rid of something that you've been programmed or taught or learned over time.
Reprogramming belief systems is one of the hardest things for humans to do.
It is. It is.
Amen.
And so, I mean, I don't know.
Do you have a favorite movie or TV show, Thomas?
A movie or TV show? Oh man, come on, bro!
Nothing come to mind.
What?
I hated that movie. I thought it was the cheesiest thing.
Dude, I'm a product of the '80s, man. I got like so many movies. I don't know.
Ferris Bueller.
I don't know. I can't.
Back to the Future.
Sure. Like Back to the Future, of course, is a classic. Sandlot, let's go. I love Sandlot.
That's always a classic too for baseball.
I couldn't wait for my kids to see it too. Like as a parent, like you really enjoy like their first time experiencing something that really like is nostalgic or really cool.
No
that you
doubt.
experienced.
Yep.
So when they first saw like Sandlot.
I felt that way
was
about
like-
the old Disney movie Flight of the Navigator. You ever watch that one?
I watched it with my kids probably a few months ago. I was like,
I did too.
oh yeah, I remember
They
the
loved
movie.
it. My
And they
wife
were
was like, "You're watching what?" I was like, "Yeah, this movie's classic." It's like
Yeah.
with the freaking thing playing, and when they're in that ship, I mean, it's kind of neat. My kids loved it. I did. I didn't like it. I wasn't a fan.
I had mixed emotions on it.
I was not a fan.
Happy Gilmore too?
I did.
He doesn't seem too excited about it either.
I want to get some of my life back, but it is what it is.
Was
you
not a
know?
huge fan. I thought the way it ended was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But oh well. I do like Adam Sandler still, so it is what it is.
He's awesome.
Yeah. All right, we're going to put a bow on the episode here with what I would call the legacy question. I think this is very relevant to the industry in some ways that you're in. But when you think, hopefully many, many years from now, Thomas, and you're on that rocking chair and thinking about what legacy you would want to be most remembered for, what would be most important to you, what are some of the thoughts that come to mind for you?
Just someone who wasn't afraid to take action and try something new, to tell my kids and show my family, you know, even if you make mistakes, it's all right, you know, not to be afraid to make moves and try things. Failure is a necessity to succeed. Quitting is the opposite, right? That's just stale. And so just someone who's always been loving, caring, and giving, and known to bring people together, because that's what I did. Play music. I'm a home chef. I love food. We cook. I have big events all the time. So yeah, just someone who's real and gave it to you straight.
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you being here today. I'm excited
Thank
to
you.
have you as a partner, and I think that there'll be a lot of opportunities, hopefully, in the near and long-term future with our platform and with the things that you bring to the table. Like I said earlier, you can learn more from Thomas and our other panelists next Thursday at Whiskey Cake. If you don't know where that is, just Google it. Here locally at the International Mall in Tampa. We'll be there at 9:30 in the morning. What is next Thursday, Rob? What's the date on that? 21st. The 21st, August 21st. So put it in your calendars, people. Don't miss it. It's going to be awesome. We will feed you, and then we'll be done right around 11 o'clock-ish. People usually hang out for lunch after, so you can network and pick someone's brain like Thomas, who has a lot to offer about this topic specifically. We will be diving into how to use AI as a strategic partner. And we'll put a bow also with the episode with a call to action to the audience, the way we always do. Whether you're watching this live on any of our channels or you're watching or listening through your favorite podcast platform, what action step can you take today, right now, after listening to this episode, that's going to propel you forward personally or professionally? And if you don't take that action, you tend to miss out on a lot of the opportunities that, you know, listening to these episodes will bring you. So make that a habit. Just one thing. What can you do? Maybe you just have to follow up and have a conversation with someone like Thomas. And if someone, by the way, wanted to connect with you, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Yeah, I'm all over social media, but you can go to stellaraisolutions.com, YouTube, Stellar
That's
AI
Stellar,
Solutions.
STELLAR, right?
Yep. I'm on Instagram at boom.with.ai. And you can find us on Facebook as well at Stellar AI Solutions.
We'll throw them up in the description as well. But maybe that's it. Maybe you just need to have a conversation and pick the brain a little bit more of Thomas, or maybe there's something you want to read that book that I recommended earlier about being an AI-driven leader, Jeff Woods, or one of the other recommendations that Thomas threw out there as well. But take action on something, do something today to propel this topic forward, because it is coming. It's a train that you can use or you can completely miss out on, and we don't want that to happen to any of the people in our audience for sure. Follow us at topproducersnation.com. Click the little button to subscribe if you don't already do that, so that way you'll be notified every time we drop a new episode, which is weekly. And you'll get the little notification when we have these great interviews, so you can always tap in on that as well. But we have a webinar, by the way, coming up later today at 4 o'clock this afternoon, so you're welcome to join us there. You can find that at topproducersnation.com as well. And we will be diving into our 4 principles of top producers and how you can make sure that you set yourself up to be a top producer in your desired market as well. We'll see you on the next episode of the Top Producers Nation podcast. See you later.